of the farmers. Why do we need agricultural credit? See, when we observe this, there development of institutional sources of credit, particularly to the agriculture sector, that you know there are money lending by non-institutional sources are more. That is the reason why there is a need to give agricultural credit to the farmers. A major thrust of the provision of institutional credit was, nationalization of major commercial banks in 1969. This was, followed by the regional rural banks established in 1975. NABARD also established in 1982. These banks reaches to the rural credit scenario and providing credit facilities to the farmers. There has, a priority has given according to the, credit which is given by the commercial banks to the agriculture sector. There were, required to lend 13.5% of their total credit to the agriculture sector, what these commercial banks are having. And also, specialized institutions in the form of regional rural banks, they were set up to cater into the needs of small producers and the other disadvantaged sections of the rural sector. From the total institutional credit, only 214 crore allotted to the agriculture sector in 1960 and 61. Later, it was increased 1168,000 crore by 2000, 17 and 18. In spite of measures of and a substantial increase in the agriculture sector, there are number of issues, concerns still remaining in the sectors. So they are, inadequacy of amount. That is the main problem. Per hectare availability of credit, only 16.5 crore hectares that were cultivated in 1990s. They did not exceed, 600 crore. And also high cost of rural credit operations. By all standards, rural credit operations are very high cost operations, as we know. Some factors that influence the non-profitability of large number of farmers enterprises. Absence of agriculture infrastructure and a supportive system in rural areas further add to the cost. A declined share of commercial banks credit to the agriculture sector. When we observe commercial credit to the agriculture sector continuously, declining in the country. And also microfinance, the program was linked to the SHG's program, self-help groups, particularly for rural people. Rural with banking system was launched in 1992. Over the years, this has merged as a major microfinance program in the country. Around 560 banks, including 48 commercial banks, and 196 regional rural banks, 316 cooperative banks were now actively involved in the operation of this microfinance program through the self-help groups. This self-help groups program, the linkage has provided rural poor access to the formal banking system. Coming to the agricultural finance, what are the types? There are, financial needs for the farmers can be classified into two categories by considering the time purpose of the credit, time period of the credit. On the basis of time credit, and the another one is on the basis of purpose credit. The credit which is required for the farmers on the basis of period of time that is divided into three parts or three types, such as short term, medium, and long term. Short term loans, farmers are in need of the short term loans to purchase seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, feeding fodder for the cattle, payment of wages for the hired workers. This comes under the short term loans. Generally, the duration of the loan is 12 to 15 months. They have to again repay the amount after the harvesting. The second one is medium term loans, particularly for farmers. They, took, they take these loans for the purchase of cattle, agricultural inputs, and implementation, repairs, and construction of no wells. This comes under the medium term loans. These medium term loans, the duration was 15 months to 5 years. They can repay this. The medium term loan is normally larger size and the short term loans. Long term loans, this type of loans required to farmers to make permanent improvement of the land. They may purchase additional land. They may dig the well where it requires, or they can use for the bore wells. The purchase of agricultural implementation and machinery, tractors, harvesting, and repay the old debt. These long-term loans are, they are using. The duration, of these loans, up to 5 to 15 years. These long-term loans. Productive credit, consumption credit, and productive credits also there. Productive credit, this type of credit, extensively directly affects the agricultural productivity. It called productive credit. This include the farmers need to purchase of seeds, fertilizers, agricultural includes like start digging of repairs of wells, tube wells, payment of wages, making permanent improvement of the land. They are using this productive credit. Consumption credit. Farmers requires credit for the sometimes consumption purpose due to long gap between marketing present crop and harvesting of the next crop. So the majority of the farmers they cannot sustain their financial position in every week, so that they can have obtain loans to meet their consumption needs. For this purpose, they depend on the private sources. They borrow from the private sources. Unproductive credit. The another one is unproductive credit. In addition to the productive and consumption needs, farmers require loans to meet unproductive purpose, such as to fight litigations, perform marriages, social functions like birthdays, anniversaries of the family members, religious functions, festivals. They are using unproductive credits. So they require loans or finance. To meet these needs, farmers borrow funds from the village money lenders with high interest rate, as we know that. So, what are these sources? Sources of the agricultural finance. When we observe this, again here the farmers borrow funds from the different sources. Particularly, we can classify into two categories: non-institutional sources and institutional sources. Non-institutional sources, which includes money lenders, relatives, traders, and commission agents. Landlords also give to the farmers. And institutional sources, they contain cooperatives, scheduled banks, cooperative banks, regional rural banks, and NABARD. These are you know institutional sources providing finance to the agriculture. Here, when we are talking about non-institutional sources of credit, as I said, money lenders, the major share of the total credit provided to the agriculture sector after the independence, money lenders with a high interest rate. Later on, considerably it comes down. The second one of non-institutional sources is traders and commission agents. Generally, farmers they take loans from the traders and commission agents to productive purpose, such they know before the crop harvest. The farmers forced to sell their produce at a lower rate of interest or at lower prices, less than the market prices, and they charge heavy or high commission. So automatically the farmers will lose and the traders and commission agents they gain more, they get profit more because whatever the farmers produce, they are purchasing with a low cost or prices, and they are you know selling to the with a high rate of prices. So this is the difference. Relatives and friends also sometimes give loans or finance to the farmers or agriculture sector. Sometimes relatives they give with a low interest rate, or sometimes they will not take any interest rate. They give directly to the relatives without any interest. Landlords also, particularly small farmers and tenants, they borrow funds from landlords to meet their financial requirements for the purpose of agricultural operations. This source that depends on the non-institutional sources of finance. The share of these landlords was 3.3% in 1991. Later, it was increased to 8%. Coming to the institutional sources of finance, the credit provided through the cooperatives, commercial banks, regional banks, and other agencies of the government, we call it as institutional sources of finance. The main aim of institutional credit is to assist the farmers in rising agricultural production, productivity, maximizing their income. So this source of credit is free from the all sort of malpractices or evils of non-institutional credit. Cooperative credit, the loans from the cooperative credit societies are cheapest and important source for the credit of agriculture sector, cooperative credit sector. The primary agricultural cooperative credit societies, they operate at village level, at the district level, district central cooperative banks were there, and state cooperative banks, they operate at state level. Coming to the another land development banks also there. These banks established to solve the problem of long-term credit against the mortgage of farmers' agricultural land. They provide loans for the repayment of duration of 15 to 20 years with low interest rate. Coming to the commercial banks, prior to the 1969, the share of commercial banks was insignificant. Before nationalization, they know their operation was very low, particularly in urban areas only. After nationalization, they have taken place lending operations of commercial banks. They provide extended credit to the agriculture sector on priority basis. Commercial banks, the implementation at village level, adoption schemes, and services they are providing to meet credit requirements of the farmers. Regional rural banks. Regional rural banks, which are established on 1975 October 2nd, in order to cater the credits, particularly small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, and rural artisans. Then the another one is Takavi loans also there. Even though various financial institution sources are available, in sometimes government has to provide the loan to the farmers. The government provide short-term and long-term loans. The loans provided by the government to the farmers are known as Takavi loans. The loans which are provided government to farmers, that is Takavi loans. Generally, these loans are extended to during the time of emergency, such as famine, flood. Okay, comes under the Takavi. So the government, they have charges 6% of the interest rate on these loans, and made the repayment is very convenient. NABARD also, they are providing rural credit. National Bank for Rural Development, NABARD, which was established in 1982 to provide credit to the agriculture sector. NABARD is the apex bank in the rural areas of credit. And RBI established Agricultural Refinance Development Corporation in 1963 to provide long-term loans for the agriculture sector. Okay, the main functions of NABARD, when we observe, as I said, it is an apex institution which caters the credit needs of the agriculture sector. The another, it is the authority of to provide the functioning of the cooperative sector, provides short-term, medium-term loans to the state cooperative banks. They also provide medium-term to the regional banks. It contributes long-term credit to the cooperative banks, land development banks, and RRBs. This NABARD provides long-term assistance in the form of loans to the state government also. Since the NABARD is, as I said, that it is an apex bank in the field of rural credit, it does not provide loans directly to the rural people or farmers. It contributes to the development of agriculture sector indirectly through providing finance to the cooperative and regional rural banks. Coming to the industrial sector, growth and micro, small, medium enterprises. As you know, industry sector is playing important role for determining the country's economic growth along with service sector. Without a rapid growth of industries, the development of this sector, including the agriculture, cannot be sustained, as we know that. So the industrial sector, which possesses a relatively high marginal propensity to save and invest, they contribute significantly. No eventual achievement of self-sustaining economy with a continuous high level of investment and a rapid rate of you know income. Indian industry sector, when we observe this global presence before British, before India considered manufacturing of goods like cotton, silk, woolen cloth. The impact of these British policies, industrial revolution, led to decay the Indian handicraft industry. Later, the industrialization industries are established. See, when we observe 1950s, industrial development has been attempted to means of various policies has taken. The governments directing the public investment and providing various incentives and facilities to the private sectors so that industries will be increase employment creates. Okay, so since 2014 the government of India has initiated number of measures in crucial sectors to accelerate higher manufacturing growth such as startup India, easy of doing business, make in India, FDI policy reforms. These all are has taken initiatives. The structure of Indian economy, structure of the terms of usage as basic industries, consumer goods industries, intermediary industries. Basic industries, the capital goods, heavy machinery, engineering, building industries are produced by these basic industries. This includes machinery tools, industrial machinery, process of plant equipment, construction and mining equipment, which all are comes under the basic industries. Coming to the consumer of or consumer goods industries, these industries provide or produce consumer goods such as food production, package of goods, clothing, leather goods, beverages. This comes under the consumer good industries. Intermediary industries, here the good which is in a product is used to produce the final good. For example, rubber, chemicals, clay, cloth, jute, which belonging to the intermediary goods or industries. The structure of the size of the capital large industries, medium industries, small industries, based on the you know finance. So when we are talking about the large industries, these industries provides inputs to the industrialization of the country. They produce capital and basic goods, which are chemicals, machines, investments. The investment is more than 10 crore comes under the large industries. Heavy industries we also call. Medium industries where the investment is 5 to less than 10 crores comes under the medium industries. They particularly the investment in plant and machinery. Small scale industries, the industry which investment is more than 25 lakhs but less than the 5 crore, that comes under the small scale industries. And microfinance industries, the industry whose investment is less than the 25 lakhs in manufacturing units. We call it as micro industries. Okay. Large industries, the investment is more than 10 crore. Medium industries, 5 to 10 crores. Small scale industries, 25 lakhs to not exceed the 5 crore. And coming to the micro industries, up to 25 lakhs. And this limit is 10 lakhs in service enterprise. That is comes under the small scale industries. Classification of industries: primary goods industries, manufacturing industry, construction and infrastructure facilities, or infrastructure sector, service sector. The growth rate of industrial sector when we observe mining, manufacturing, electricity, general index, primary goods, capital goods, infrastructure, consumer durable and consumer non-durable goods. Over a period of time, the growth rate was increased. The growth rate was increased. Few of them are the growth rate of decreased annual growth rate. And also the growth rate of production of eight main core industries like coal, crude oil, natural gas, fertilizers, steel, cement, electricity. These are the major industries. Plan-wise industrial growth when we observe, third 5-year plan it was 8%, and 11th it was 7.5, and 10th it was 8.2, 7th it was 8.5, and the remaining the growth rate was declined due to various reasons. Major changes have been coming to the industrial pattern. What are the main problems in industry? After the completion of 6 decades of economic planning, India could not attain sound level of industrial development. Some of the major problems were that faced the process of industrialization of the country. So the gap between targets and achievements. This is main problem of the industrial sector. Since as I said, third plan onwards, the gap between targets and achievements was widened. Due to this issue, the industrialization of the country has, declined. Lack of infrastructure also. lesser labor productivity, lack of innovation of the technologies, and particularly manufacturing sector, low demand, lack of capital, poor performance of agriculture sector, poor performance of public sector and industrial sector, which all are comes under the problems of industrial sector in the country. MSME, micro small enterprises in India, when we observe, after the enhancement of Micro Small Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006, small medium sectors has been defined as micro, small and medium enterprises with the effect of 2nd October 2006. So the investment plan and machinery based how much the investment and what it comes the enterprises. Enterprises, the micro enterprises does not exceed 25 lakhs. Small enterprises more than 25 lakhs, but less than 2 crores. Medium enterprises more than 5 crore, but less than 10 crore. Coming to the service sector, micro enterprises does not exceed 10 lakhs, but small enterprises more than 10 lakh, but less than 2 crore in service sector. Medium enterprises, more than 2 crore, but does not exceed 5 crore. That is, related to MSME. These MSME sectors also facing problems. The main problem is financial problem. All Indian census, they stated that financial problem was the reason for closing of 35% of the units. And also scarcity of working capital is the major problem for these sectors, and absence of organized marketing facility, under the utilization of the capacity, poor project planning, skilled manpower is less. There are other issues also there, particularly absence of a regular power supply and unsuitable location, competition from the large scale units, irregular supply of scale, raw materials, labor problems, low technical skill and managerial ability, which are also the other problems of the you know MSME sector. So this MSMC, particularly this micro, small, medium enterprises. Along with that, there are other sickness in these sectors. There are various reasons, particularly external and internal. External factors, they outside the units, and therefore they are not under the control of the unit. That is the problem. I'll continue the next class next week.